Hello everyone, Yaqa here. So look at me actually posting on my YouTube account. I figured that I kind of wanted to step away from things like TikTok because it was honestly just not serving me anymore with the content that I was making, and in general I've just had a lot of issues with the platform. So I'm kind of transitioning towards posting more YouTube videos, especially as I start to create more art and kind of focus on other aspects of cosplay that I really just can't um, use TikTok for the way that I want to. So with that, this is my first speed paint. I'm thinking I will do some drawing tutorials later for you guys, but I'm kind of just testing this out, seeing how we feel. So if you couldn't tell, I am really into Hazbin these days. And that extends to Hell of a Boss as well, but Hazbin is where most of my brain rot has been focused. And so I thought it would be really fun to just kind of design characters that I have, as well as redesigns that I have for the Helliverse, and specifically Hazbin in this case. And if you haven't been keeping up with my other social media and my general art account, Husk is absolutely my favorite. He is who I love. So, of course, naturally, I'm going to create a lot of characters in relation to Husk. You're going to see a lot of those. So, first up, we have my fankid that I have for Husk. I would like to emphasize that she is not a Huskerdust kid. She is specifically Husk's daughter from when he was alive, and she died young, and she is now a winner, so she is in heaven. Anyway, her name is Alasa Ambrose. She died at 19, and she is just kind of like your standard winner. But with her design, I wanted her to kind of have a lot of features that were reminiscent of her daddy, because I love her daddy, and she loves her daddy, and her daddy loves her. So with that, I really wanted to lean into that cat center aspect of her, and one of the big things that I have when it comes to the characters that I'm drawing, especially with Husk, is that I really do like to emphasize those black features to them, because I don't really like how a lot of people kind of don't want to acknowledge that these characters are black. Or really just in this case, Husk is black. I've run into a lot of discourse about that, but it's whatever. So with that, I have been experimenting with kind of drawing textured fur in order to give more of that look to what different black hairstyles would look like, and kind of translating that to a fur pattern, which has definitely been an interesting thing to explore, but I honestly really love the effect that it's given. Here we have, obviously me drawing Adasa with her textured fur, and honestly, it was so much fun to draw. I don't have complaints about it, honestly, because I really did enjoy getting to bring her to life this way and getting to kind of add my own flair to her. One of the things that really matters to me is being able to make hair look and say a lot about a character. Even in the case of, anthropomorphic characters where you're going to be dealing with things much more like fur. So Adasa, honestly, is just so much fun to draw, and my Husk art has a similar kind of like texture to the fur. It's a little bit different. I've only really drawn Husk in his center form once, so I need to kind of keep drawing him just so I can give everyone the idea of what I'm looking at. But, I mean, you can get a pretty good idea of what I draw, for like just from this. Anyway, Adasa is honestly my baby girl. I love her. Being able to create her and getting to bring her to life in different like roleplay settings or just with the people that I talk to has been amazing. Getting to kind of touch on Husk's grief, the things that made him into the person that he is, with her are amazing. But in general, I also just love her as a character. Adasa is a very, very sweet woman. Honestly, it's very much within my headcanons and just, beliefs, because she is my OC, that Adasa has a kind of very similar attitude to Charlie. She tends to be very, very optimistic, very cheerful, very joyful. She does not have as much of like the toxic positivity aspect that we see Charlie have, but it is still there to a degree. It's just not as intense since, she really isn't the daughter of the embodiment of pride. So I didn't feel like it would be too fitting of a thing to kind of give her in that sense. But I really do love getting to explore her and just kind of the way that she is. She's honestly just like, she's got the personality of a sunset, is the best way I can describe it. And I love that for her because she is my baby. I really wanted to go with kind of just the pastel look for her, which is very interesting. If you know me, I don't tend to rock with pastels like that. I tend to focus on very saturated colors and very bold colors. I tend to go for that like Lisa Frank type color palette. So getting to experiment and toy with pastels was definitely interesting, but honestly it was really fun, and getting to see the way that I could implement my stylistic choices when it comes to shading and rendering in general while still using kind of that pastel palette was really, really fun, and I really loved the result that I got with it. Alessa really has just been a delight to get to develop. She's honestly really, really, really wonderful. I love to imagine that she is friends with Molly in heaven, which I think is, very funny. You ever just meet your aunt before you realize that that's your aunt? Yeah, that's a that's a Dasa. But she's very much got that happy-go-lucky vibe. She's very much someone who loves to be in tune with her femininity. She really enjoys getting to look pretty. I think that her fur is very much something that she takes a lot of pride in caring for. And she really does enjoy getting to just look unapologetically flouncy and just lovely. I think that she deserves to, just be a girly girl. It makes me very happy. When it comes to a lot of the things that she likes, I also really love getting to develop that because a lot of people don't tend to expect the things that I give with her. So with her, she has a very big thing for engineering. She really loves that so much. It's kind of a belief of mine that, oh, Jesus. I went through so many different settings trying to find the right color for that one. But it's a belief of mine that Adasa very much put Husk and Gabrielle, her mother, through hell and back because she loved playing with locks. She loved picking them apart. She loved, figuring them out. She loves a lock puzzle. She very much enjoyed all those types of things, and that is one of those things where you could hand her just a series of different locks and little things like that, and she would have the most fun just picking them apart, trying to figure out how to undo them, how to really get to whatever it is, even if it's just untangling everything. She very much would have been into Legos if she was in the modern day. She really would have loved that shit. But no, she was definitely the child that got out of the house a lot and was always on the run because she would just figure out every single lock that her parents put in place and then escape. She's very mischievous in that way, and I very much love her for that. And I think that that's something that Husk definitely thinks of fondly, even if it was the most stressful thing of his parenting years. Just, where the fuck did my daughter go? And I love to imagine that with that, Adasa really would have loved going to magic shows with her dad and getting to kind of see the way that these different tricks, you know, came to be, and especially a good lock trick. She would have loved that, and she would have loved the rings as well. So I definitely think that magic shows were something that she could bond with her dad with, because even if it wasn't necessarily what she was used to when it came to her interests with things, it very much still had something that she and her dad could bond over, and something that they could really connect over. And I definitely think in general she just grew to love magic tricks in general because of her dad. And so I really do imagine her in heaven still, you know, messing around with some of these tricks that her dad taught her when she was a child, because she's held them dear over the years. And there's nothing that you can really do that will take away the fact that she loves her dad like that. I break my own heart because, you know, I have made her in my head and I have this entire dynamic for them, and I know it's not going to exist in the canon of Hazbin, but if you've been following me long enough, you know that I'm canon divergent, so I'm not, you know, put off by that. I'm going to have my fun and imagine my headcanons. And to be honest, I already know my headcanons aren't going to be true, because as soon as I saw that Husk was from Vegas, I said, fuck no. And I said, that is a Caribbean man. You cannot convince me that that is not a Caribbean immigrant. So my Husk is Haitian and immigrated to the US as a teenager. And now we get, you know, that kind of aspect of his character. So a lot of what I write with Husk and a lot of what I base him off of is very much based on the research that I've done for kind of Haitian culture, which means that I have been attempting to learn Creole. If anyone has any resources for learning that, that would be wonderful, because I'm, you know, still in the process of learning. I really would like to be as respectful as possible as I can when depicting this character. But anyway, yeah, this is Adasa. She is my love and my life. And I hope that you all enjoy getting to see her as much as I have enjoyed getting to draw her. And thank you all so much for watching. And please like and subscribe. I'm planning to post more speed paints and such, and maybe some drawing tutorials. So, see you all in the next video.